posted the
yeah, I saw
Twitch
link
link a couple times.
Thank you. Okay, well.
Have you seen the plugin for Restream?
It's pretty cool.
It shows a chat of both.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but it's pretty cool.
Because
like, what if you reply? Who does it go to?
Both.
Both?
Alright, so, 1 sec, I'll get on top of it. No, you're fine. You're not in the view.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. What's he about to do? No, we were talking about how we need lights for the presenter.
This is all like, this is our first time with these, so.
Yeah. This is all hooked up, but if you need to hook it up to HDMI, you would need the adapter or whatever.
Sure.
Oh, we have it already. I think that the power strip. Oh, there's a power strip down there.
I have to figure out what the closest one is. This room is bad for power. That picture you took of him the other day was out when the door opened.
Oh yeah.
He's sleeping at the little game herd.
This little Game Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Can't see the outlet, so I'm just like feeling around. Get over
There
there.
you go.
Oh, so purpley pink.
Magenta.
Alright, well. So is everyone telling us if
Anybody want
anybody's
to go first?
watching? Yeah, I'm gonna do like a quick introduction. We have a single viewer.
Nice.
I have to warn you that when we do my game, I'm gonna ask for a volunteer to play it. So that might be fun.
So I'm doing both a recording and stream. So
Awesome.
Yeah. Right.
Thanks for taking care of that.
Yeah, no. And pulled it a lot. All right. Hey everybody. So we finished Ludum Dare. This is 56, right? So hosted here at Warm Zone for the jam and the compo. We only did 48 hours in person, but anybody who did the jam at home or here can continue until tomorrow night. So if you're jamming, keep jamming. If you are working on a team or not doing the compo, but I think we're officially at the end if you're doing the compo, which is the 48-hour only. So we have 3 different games that were made here at Warp Zone to present. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Who wants to go first?
I think mine might take the longest, so it might be good to do mine last.
Yeah. Oh, last. Okay.
Or I could do it first. I mean, up to you. I'm just letting you know.
Might be like, yeah. Are we going?
Did you want to?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Let's go ahead.
First up.
Do you need help with anything? Do you want
So while y'all are setting up, can you
Hello.
introduce yourselves and
Let us know where we need to be in view.
so you are both in view.
Okay.
If Alex were crouched any further, he would be out of view. So, yeah. And I'm going to switch it to...
It's on the right one.
laptop
Yeah.
And presenter.
Here we got Speeder Summer. So we've got put that up there. Something weird with this dock thing, but we'll figure it out. Let me do mirroring.
Yeah, that's probably the best for this.
New laptop, sorry, I'm getting used to Pop OS.
We can see that key art. It looks awesome.
Mirror. Do I have to apply? Apply changes. Yeah. There we go.
There we go, much better.
Okay, so there's a game. Yeah, so our game is Super Bug Bash by,
Me, Aaron,
and I'm Alex.
and then Colton helped us with music. He is not
Yeah.
here.
So Super Bug Bash is, as the name implies, a Super Nintendo game. But it's not just like a game that looks like a Super Nintendo game. It's made for the real Super Nintendo, and we actually played it on real hardware and everything. And how does that work?
With a lot of assembly for the processor for the Super Nintendo, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, extra tears. But yeah, so I've used an assembler WLA-DX to compile the code. Everything's just written out in Notepad, and then use this emulator called Messin, which has a lot of great debugging tools, and we use that to kind of test everything and figure stuff out, and then yeah.
Yeah, and I made all the art with Sprite, and it had the Super Nintendo has some very specific requirements. Like you get a certain number of palettes, and a palette is 15 colors and alpha transparent for every palette, and then sprites can only be on one palette, and you have a certain. It's not really like a color limitation of like 256 colors or whatever, but it's more like you have to pick how many colors you're going to use in your game up front, kind of thing, out of lots of colors. But it's pretty cool, and I got used to that. And then we ended up with the game. You play as these little bugs, and this is basically how far we got. All four of them move with 4 controllers.
Yeah, with the Super Multi-Tap for the Super Nintendo plugged in, you can have up to 4 players moving. On the PC, it's a little bit harder to set up the Super Multi-Tap, so we don't have that running right now. But
Yeah.
all 4 characters will move independently with actual controllers hooked up, and yeah, we've tested that earlier. And yeah, all the characters move, they all turn, run around. Didn't get to the animation of like the little legs moving and stuff, and then obviously we want to have more actual gameplay stuff, little barriers and collision and picking up pollen and bumping each other. But this is what we got.
Yeah. So we got an ant, an aphid, a firefly, and a ladybug, and they just are corresponding to the controller. You don't get to like pick your character or whatever. But the idea for the concept like of the gameplay is pollen's gonna like fall down in the center, and it'll be like little balls, and you try to collect it, and then whoever gets the most pollen by the end of the timer, there'll be a timer at the top or something. Whoever gets the most pollen by the end of the timer wins. But you can hit a button to bash another player, and if you bash them into, there's going to be like a spiked wall around it. If you bash them, yeah, like thorny brambles. And if you bash them into it, then they drop all their pollen like sonic rings, and then you can go in and grab them all real quick. So the idea was a party game where it's really simple, but also there's like this twist of somebody could be really winning, and then you can bash them right at the end and grab all their stuff. And I just imagine everybody like freaking out, and yelling at each other and stuff. So, yeah, we want to try to. I think we're going to play around with it a little more after the jam and try to get what our small concept working at least, because we spent a long time trying to overcome like barriers and learning how the Super Nintendo stuff works, and there were a lot of weird roadblocks that we ran into yesterday, and today went really smooth, and then we're gonna hopefully be able to do some more development on it, and that'll go smooth too, I hope. So we'll see.
Do we want to play the music that Colton?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have the program.
Yeah, I don't have the program. Sorry. Do you want to hook up real quick?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So the Colton made music for the game, and there's like some limitations with how you make music for the Super Nintendo, of course. But there's like 8. I think they're 8 channels that you can make, that you can put your music, different samples on and stuff. And he made the music in his own DAW, digital audio workstation thing, but then converted it all to the special Super Nintendo way of doing things. And you can play it with the SNES GSS, which is a program that will play things like the real audio chipset on a Super Nintendo. So we'll get to hear it.
Yeah, and this is what he used to build it for the Super Nintendo. And this will export directly to the file format for Super Nintendo, and then with a little bit of programming, you can get it running in the game.
Some bass. I made a little 3D printed Super Nintendo cartridge, and eventually I'll figure out how to get a flash card to put on game. So it'll be like, we made a game. So this is just the shell. But, I made it green because that was what my new printer came with, and then we made a game about bugs. So I think it worked out. It's fine. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great work.
Absolutely, it was a lot of fun. Ups and downs, turmoil, but we got something somewhere at the end.
Always wanted to make a Super Nintendo. It was my first console.
Same.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome.
Just so good to do a jam again.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah.
I guess I'll show my game next since it'll be extremely quick.
Woo! Well,
We had a question in. Sorry, I was distracted by a bunch of stuff going on. We had a question in the chat. When is this getting added to Nintendo Switch Online?
There's something Nintendo knows when things are getting added to Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
I do really want to, just because I want more people to be able to play it, I want to figure out if there's a way to package it with an emulator so that emulator and ROM can be like in a wrapper that's an executable.
Micromages had a solution that was like that, and I think they did it legally. I'd have to look into how they did it.
So I'll try to look into that. I wasn't really worried about during the jam because it's just like, we'll just get it working.
I've seen some people bundle ROMs through and on a web player through an emulator.
I've seen that for Game Boy. I want to see, I hope that that's it. If you're able to do that with the Super Nintendo, that would be sweet.
All right. So mine will be really quick. So I've been trying to learn Unreal Engine, and I decided to try and sorry, can you throw the mouse over here? Do you have it?
Oh, I just pushed it over to the side.
I decided to try and replicate a mechanic from my current gaming obsession, which is Satisfactory. In the game, you create a bunch of factory buildings that can take in items and then spit out more items. So you can combine a bunch of different types of items to make new items and then put those back in other buildings to make other items, and it's just a never-ending loop. And so on the most base level, I recreated the factory building system. So you can create, well, this here is just the top-down template in Unreal. So I didn't make the character movement stuff, but in it you can make storage containers, which will spit out an infinite amount of items, and then you can make buildings, and this is all just like debug stuff, and then you can link them together with conveyor belts. They'll spit out items, and then you can create more construction buildings, and you can use splitters. So I have splitters implemented, so you can link the splitters with conveyor belts and have it distribute items across multiple buildings, and you can have it just kind of be a never-ending loop of these items being made. Every building, it's super rudimentary. Right now, buildings will take 3 of an item before they construct an item inside the building. So it goes from like a really fast rate of construction, and then each subsequent, I guess, generation constructs slower. So you can just keep this loop going forever. Oh, and I have the ability to delete buildings as well.
Nice.
So I added that.
Can you use a splitter to go back into one?
Probably. Probably. Yeah.
Immediately thinking about breaking it.
Yeah. There's probably loads of ways you can break this. Like, I think, add in some safeguards so that like you can just have it be a conveyor belt to the same building. So that's a thing. I'll just delete that. Oh, it doesn't delete the other parts. Yeah, so it's just only a little buggy, but I just wanted to get the kind of building mechanic in. The original idea was that you would start out with tiny creatures that then you could combine to make big creatures, and then they grow bigger and bigger. And maybe an idea I had was like you could combine 2 different creatures together to make a new creature. And one thing I was thinking about doing was either hooking up to the ChatGPT API or to Llama to have it generate new names for the creatures, and maybe even figure out some ways to have it generate the graphics for them, because I thought it would be interesting if it was just like an infinite amount of these different creatures you could get. And I was thinking that each of the storage buildings that you would make, so the initial buildings, would just generate some new base creature. Maybe it would use like an existing, like a cat, dog, elephant, etc. Or just bugs. The original idea was bugs. But it would then combine those 2 unrelated things together to make some new thing. And so you could like play around with the different combinations. There was a web game, probably like the beginning of the year, where it was like this big word cloud, and you would like pick 2 words, and it would combine them in some way and generate a new word. And it was like fully online multiplayer, where like if you were the first person to discover that combination, you would like stake your claim to it, and you like get extra points or something. So I thought that would be pretty funny, not in like the multiplayer aspect, but like they used ChatGPT to achieve that. So I thought it'd be pretty funny to do a similar thing, generate new types of creatures just by playing around with it. Yeah. So
It'd be so cool to like not know what's in your game and then find out.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a great use of the AI stuff.
yeah. I thought that like it would have been interesting to have like just infinite possibilities of different combinations. Like you could play it a bunch of times and get some funny, weird thing. Combine like mouse and ladybug and get like volcano.
Lady mouse.
Yeah, lady
Lady
mouse.
mouse.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway,
Bouse.
Bowser. Yeah, that's the game. That's all I
I
got.
like it. It's honestly impressive. For like having stuff moving and all that.
Thanks. Yeah, it's
All the
it's
being able to place buildings and even delete them.
that was like the last minute addition. I originally wasn't even gonna do that, but I was like, I'll just see if I can add this. I was dragging my feet on getting the AI stuff put in, and then finally, like the last 30 or 45 minutes, I was like, I'm gonna give it a try, and it was just a lot to deal with. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, the interface for putting buildings is great. Right.
You're getting into Unreal. Like you're
Yeah.
able to make stuff quick with it now.
I feel like I could have been a lot quicker, but it's not so bad. Can you see 11? Oh, you moved. Okay. All right.
All right. Well, I'm going to start setting my stuff up. So, hi, my name is Jonah. Plug in. Okay.
The stream looks pretty good. That's cool.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at it.
Button, and it went down for a minute earlier, but
I didn't even notice. Okay, so it looks like this is working. Cool. Well, my game is called Pusher Fish, and I think what I think would be fun to do is if I could get a volunteer from the audience who'd like to try the game. It's a puzzle game.
Absolutely do it.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to stand over here. You've got full reign of it. If you just, I'll press the space bar. It'll tell you how to play.
Okay.
Let's get started. So that is a little puffer fish right there with
I'm gonna try to make a.
very simple pixel art.
Z, undo, R to restart. Okay.
Yep. It's a good thing you didn't have to use 0R to restart. So you didn't fall into
Okay.
any of the holes.
Mm-hmm.
Jonah.
Aha, yes.
Best Justin says your friend Eve stopped by Ludum
Oh
Dare.
no.
Yes! No, Eve told me about that. That's funny. She said she loved Battle Arena. She thought it looked cool. Yeah.
Whoop.
That's awesome.
So yeah. This beginning part of the game is
Oh no.
it can be tough. It can be really easy to get stuck in these sorts of games. So there's like a constant use of Z and R to undo and restart your moves. I used a tool called Puzzle Script to make the game. It's really limited, but on purpose. Like you can only make 5x5 pixel characters, which I think is really cool. And now we're getting into the
Space
main
or X to grow.
mechanic of the game. You can press the space button to grow. So your pufferfish becomes humongous, and he stretches out and sort of makes a little bit of a pained expression when he puffs out. And you can see that that gives you the ability to more easily cross some gaps until it doesn't. But yeah, this was sort of the starting point of the idea for this game. So the theme for Ludum Dare was tiny creatures. And so I thought about that in terms of a block pushing game context because I love designing those kinds of games, and Puzzle Script is really good at making them very quickly. And so I wondered, what would it be like if you were if you were a character who could become tiny and then become large again in a block pushing game, and a creature that does that in real life is a pufferfish. So
Just
just
a
as,
little mouth opens when you fall.
yeah.
It's very cute.
A little bit of alarm as he falls. And yeah, we get into some of the sort of restrictions that I dealt with. There might be some animations that look weird or little things like that. Also, I bet that the difficulty curve is way too steep because, of course, when you're doing a jam like this, you don't really have the opportunity to test with different people. I was just like, make a new level, make a new level, make a new level, make a new level, and then kind of order them based on my judgment of what's easiest and what's hardest. So, yeah. Some of these can be a little bit daunting, but Aaron's getting it. He's moving through them all.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Just became absolutely humongous.
Nope, don't want to do that.
But yeah, with the visuals of the game, I just kept everything really simple. There was a need to in this game you need to convey a little bit of depth because there's the mechanic where you push these objects into the holes to fill them up, to walk over them. And so I just made it so that it's out of those 5 pixels each sprite can be. When there's a hole, it just goes down 1 pixel. So don't think about it too hard, but it is a little bit weird that you push in this tiny object and then you're able to safely walk across, but if you step in, you fall all the way through. I don't know, but it's all about the gameplay, really, and the puzzles that result from it. Yeah, it can be pretty tricky to fall into holes. There are a lot of block pushing puzzle games where there are pits that you don't want to fall into, and something that a lot of those games do is just make it so that if you try and do something that would push you into a pit, it sort of cancels your move. But in this, I wanted to do the full animation because a lot of times you don't realize you're about to fall into a pit, so I just wanted it to fully play out, and you're like, here's what's going on. You fell all the way in, and so yeah, it goes on for there are 13 levels in it, and
My
they
back
get-
was getting a little sore hunched over there, but
sorry about that. But yeah, I think they get kind of tough towards the end.
Very fun.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope that it would be interesting. It was definitely like a fun space to explore of like, how do you resolve conflicts when you're like a 1x1 character, like in a normal block pushing game, to like becoming 3x3 all of a sudden. But as a result, there are a lot of funky things that sort of end up happening. And those are the things about this game that I'm sort of a little bit iffy about, that I'm like, I'm not sure I would have done it exactly that way again. I think it might be fun to show that real quick. So this is Puzzle Script. It's just in the browser, and this is what I used to make everything. So let me load into level. So hold on. So you can see the game on the right while the code is running on the left. This will do. But weird things happen. So your pufferfish is sort of up on the left, and if he expands right here into a 3x3, like what would happen? You know, you saw before that the game sort of like pushes you out of walls as that becomes a problem. So here's what that looks like in 3, 2, 1. It just sort of resolves the movement one step at a time, where he's like, oh, ah, oh, and then he lands where he's supposed to go. And that can be weird and like hard to predict for future puzzles, and it leads to mechanics that just sort of resulted from those rules that I'm like, I don't even know if I like that, but it's what happens, so I guess it'll stay that way. Like this move right here, somehow growing right here pushes him up, and when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. It's like you grew into that thing, it didn't have anywhere to go, the thing pushed you up to get you out of the way, the thing is inside you, so it would get pushed up with you. But that ends up being, even though it looks
unpredictable.
exactly, it's like nobody could see it coming before it actually happens. So I tried to make it easy to make happen here in a situation that's clearly impossible without it. But despite looking weird, it led to some really interesting puzzles, so I kept it working like that. And yeah, so there are a whole bunch more levels in it. I'm going to put this on itch.io soon. It'll be on galactical.itch.io. So if you like to see the rest of the levels, you can do that. But I think I might have spoiled a few levels by showing you all the code for the game. So
Yeah, you have like a comment with the solution.
unfortunately, you know, sometimes they're not
Try not
really.
to look at it.
Each one of those comments is just like the starting point. Like before I made a puzzle, I just said, here's what I want to do in this puzzle. And sometimes it literally wasn't even accurate. So shouldn't be too bad of a
Comments
spoiler.
are never accurate.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, that is Pusherfish. Thank you.
Quite fun.
That's
Alright,
cool.
well, that's all, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for presenting. Thanks for jamming, everybody.
Thank you.
And we'll catch y'all in the next time. Bye.
Bye.